Shivanjan, what is it? So you work and studied in India. You work and studied in Europe, and now you're studying in the US. What is the difference between India, Europe, and US?
I think that is a fantastic question to start off with. Uh, I think the main difference, studying in India, first of all, I think like my course was engineering. I think that was, in terms of difficulty, a very difficult course because it's technical. And also, Indian education is slightly more competitive and is slightly less interactive. It's a lot more lecture based. It's a lot more the professor talking at you rather than a lot of participation. I think that's what changed in Europe when I was at IE. It was very practical, very case driven, very team based, and very interactive in class. It was also more relaxed. I think just the lifestyle and the way students and professors conduct themselves, even though it is rigorous, it's also a lot more relaxed at the same time. I think US is kind of like in the middle between the two of them. It is more
Okay.
competitive, slightly more driven than Europe is, but not as competitive as I would say India is. So I would say US is slightly in the middle.
Okay, so that's a good thing to know. Alors, so you're completing the Yale MAM, so it's a Master in Advanced Management.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this program? Because I have like one student per year who go for an MAM, and students they know the MIM, they know the MIF, they know the MBA, they know executive MBA, they know PhDs, but they don't know what an MAM is, and how can you apply, and what are the eligibility criteria for an MAM?
I think so. It is a bit of a niche degree and it's new. But why I find it to be really compelling is because if you, for example, go do a 1 year MBA or a European MBA, which is most of them are 1 year, and you understand that maybe there is something left in terms of the academic rigor,
Yeah.
then I think the MAM option is really good because to oversimplify it or to just put it very simply to the students, it's basically like your second year of a US MBA that you're doing in the. So consider it that the first year of an MBA, you're going to do it in Europe or wherever you choose to. And the second year of the MBA is going to be at Yale, right? So it is, I think, a very neat program. It is a smaller batch, so you'll have uh, a small, very intimate kind of an approach where there is going to be networking between the batch, but you also take classes along with the second year MBAs and the rest of the SOM. So you will have that small network along with access to pretty much everyone. So I think
Okay.
that's a really interesting thing if you want to study in the US, if you want to work in the US. So I think those kind of things are going to be uh, if you want those kinds of things in your life, I think the Yale MAM is a great option for you to take up.
Okay. So it's a very good thing to know. So basically, so what is the program? What do you study? So you studied in September, if I'm right. You finish what in June or in August? When
So
will
I
you
start in August, I graduate in May.
in May? Okay. So basically, you studied was early August, mid August. I forgot when was it
Yes,
exactly?
I start early August.
Yeah.
There is a proper about 2 weeks of orientation that is going to be there. And this is going to be 2 proper weeks between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. where there's going to be proper orientation every day to make you get used to how the university works, how everything works academically, non-academically. And then you graduate, I think I graduate 28th of May, 2025. I'm supposed to graduate on that day.
Okay. So it's a very good it's a very good thing to know. Alors, so basically, you have a 9 months program with a
Mhm.
winter break that will last what 1 month? How long is the winter break that
Roughly,
in
if
your
you
program?
combine all the breaks, I think they're going to be about a month. as well. Yeah. So that is why it is important to understand that it is 12 months of work which has
Mm,
been packed into 8 months.
mm,
So it is going to be very rigorous.
okay.
Uh, Yale tends to put a lot of pressure on you when it comes to an academic setting. There's a certain standard academically that they like to maintain. So that is definitely going to end up uh, creating a certain amount of pressure on the student, which I think is a very good thing. That is how you learn.
Okay. So basically, you told me it's a bit like a second year of an MBA. So you mean that it is highly customized and you only have electives? That's what you mean?
Yes,
You only have electives?
so we have uh, so for context, we have to complete 40 credits in order to
Mm,
graduate. Yale has 4 credits for a full semester course and 2 credits for a half semester course. So
okay.
basically, we have to take 20 credits each semester. You can take more if you want, but then we'll have to
Mm,
balance out time as well. It is very customizable. Only 4 credits are compulsory courses, which are very focused on business and society and leadership. And you'll have that in the fall. After that, 36 credits are all electives. You can take whatever you want. You can take classes within the SOM. You can take it outside the SOM in any of the schools at Yale. You can take it with the undergrad college also. Like I have a lot of my friends who wanted to take uh, a computer science kind of a thing.
mm,
So they want to take a lot of tech classes. So they're doing undergrad courses also.
okay.
Some of them are taking global affairs courses at the School of Global Affairs and Jackson. So I think it is very highly customizable.
Okay. So it's a very good thing to know and to learn. So which classes will you have taken yourself? Because you have I will ask you to introduce yourself, but you're a pretty direct person. You have you have many degrees. So which classes have you taken this year? What did you feel that you need to take and to study?
So for me, I think a lot of the IE MBA was the core courses, and even though it was fantastic as a learning experience, I felt that there is certain depth in fields of strategy, marketing,
Yeah.
and of course, some of the STEM courses, which I needed a little more depth in. So I am pursuing the STEM specialization, which is the management science major, and on. So that basically means that out of the 36 credits that I have available for taking electives, I have to take 16 in STEM, and the
Okay.
rest of the 20 can be non-STEM. So some of the STEM courses that I took in so far are advanced business analytics. So that is coding in R, Excel, and math involved. I've taken data analysis and causal inference. That is a lot of advanced statistics. I also took strategic market measurement, which was marketing plus Python. So these were some of the STEM courses. My favorite non-STEM courses, I would say, is digital strategy.
Mm,
I think one of the best professors, even though pretty much every professor here is great, he's one of the best. He's taught by Vineet Kumar. And the second is crisis management in tech, which I'm taking right now. That is taught by the ex-chief information officer of IBM.
mm.
Uh, and I think that is one of the most relevant and important courses because I think crisis in tech is very related to a lot of things. Uh, to me, that's my favorite course in the second half of fall.
Okay. So So tell me now, so I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself because you're pretty well known on the on LinkedIn, but maybe you can introduce yourself because this video is for the MBA Center students and also for the MBA Center community that was built in Spain because I'm going to be okay. So can you introduce yourself, Shivanjan?
Sure, sure. So my name is Shivanjan. I'm originally from Uttar Pradesh, India. Pretty much lived all over India in 12 cities. I have an undergrad from the Manipal Institute of Technology, and it was in computer science and engineering. I graduated in 2016. For the first 4 years of my career, I worked across Byju's, Upgrad, and Coursepedia, mostly in business development. So, again, you can see background in education technology. In 2020, I made my switch into management consulting, started working for a India/Dubai-based firm called ThoughtNext. Uh, Started as senior consultant, became engagement manager, moved to Dubai for a bit. Uh, After that, I went for my MBA to IE Business School, specialized in strategy, lived in Madrid for 1 year, then started working in Madrid in a Singaporean tech firm that was expanding. It was called Flock. I was working there as a senior strategy consultant. So, for all simplification, it was as an internal consultant on corporate strategy. And that is when I personally met Dr. Huber. I was following his posts on LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, let me get mentorship from him. Let me see if I can apply to the MAM program and the MSMS program at MIT. Applied, got through both of them on scholarship, and decided to go for the MAM program. And I'm now here. I started in August of 2024. I'm currently midway through the second half of my fall semester.
Okay. No, yes, that's something that few people know. I know because I was your coach. You have been accepted to both programs, and of course, when you told me that you studied with Yale, so I was happy. And then you got MIT, so I was here. And finally, you took you chose Yale, which of course came as a
Mhm.
surprise to me. So, can you tell me?
I think so. I think the MAM degree is better tailored. That was one of the reasons that I saw. I think there were three main reasons. This was one of them. One, the alumni network of the MAM is a lot bigger, a lot stronger. And also in terms of consulting, which is the field that I want to get into, at least for now, I feel Yale has a stronger hand there. Uh, so I think that was one of the main reasons. The second reason was I just felt a better fit. Uh, I do like tech, but I am not only tech driven, and I feel the personalities of the students and the alumni that I spoke to at Yale was slightly more well-rounded and not pointing only towards technology or only towards research. It was a lot of leadership, it was a lot of business, it was a lot of business and society combined. So I think the vibe or uh, the I would better fit in Yale is what my assumption was. So far, it's been great, and also it depended upon the scholarship aspect of things. And Yale was ready to, at the end of the day, offer me a very substantial scholarship. MIT did as well. MIT uh, gave me, I think, about 30%, but Yale ended up giving me close to 65%, which was substantial for me, and I think that also played a big part on the decision that I took.
Okay. So basically, yes, the but it's already pretty good. What both gave you is already pretty good. You agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so so now in terms of financing, so you have received a scholarship. I know it's an issue for Indian students, okay, always because I've noticed that Prodigy is less and less prodigious. So have you used what have you used to first of all what resources have you used to study at IE? And now did you justify like 1 or 2 years after IE that you wanted to go for another master's? And how did you finance that? It's not
Okay.
uh,
So,
inquisitive.
sure. So, I IE also gave me a scholarship, and also a part of that was funded by my previous organization as well.
Yeah.
So it was close to about 50% that was paid by the organization as well as the IE scholarship, which was great again. Uh, And I think justifying it because Yale subsidized it so much. I have also a couple of other scholarships which I have, which are more government related. And that brought down the cost substantially for me personally. I have not had to take out a loan for any of them, which I think is which I'm lucky and fortunate to have. Uh, to me, I think it was the scholarship part of it is just part of your application. And I think apart from the numbers, it is very important to show the schools how you are going to be a good ambassador of the school, and then to actually be a good ambassador of the school, and also to convince them that you're not going there just because it's a prestigious brand or just because it's a famous brand. I think it is important to do your research about the programs, understand what is the DNA of the school, uh, what are the students like, what kind of research you've done, and why you will add value to the classroom. I think once that happens, these schools are big, famous entities. They have a substantial amount of scholarship money with them. So once they understand that you're going to be, once they get impressed by you, uh, they're willing to make life easier for you for enrolling. Let's just say that.
Okay, so that's what you mean. So yes, I'm impressed. So you have not you don't have any loan. Shivanjan was all financed through scholarship and self-funding. Yeah, it's impressive. Um, so tell me, what are your plans post MAM? Because we have a lot of negative feedback from students who tell us that a one-year program in the US is a bit a problem because they tell me schools come on campus to look for interns, and these internship are converted usually into full-time jobs. They say that it's not like at IE or like at INSEAD where they are looking for people that they want to recruit immediately post MBA. It seems that it is somehow a two-step approach. Can you confirm?
Okay, so yeah, this is a mixed bag. So it depends upon the industry. But yes, there is some truth definitely to the fact that the US market is very driven towards internships and then giving return offers to those interns and retaining them. So if you're looking at more structured ways of hiring, which is going to be consulting, investment banking mostly, then and private equity also, then you might have to face slightly more stiff competition because those companies have about 80% of their open positions filled up by internship return offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was saying, uh, PE, venture capital, consulting, those are very structured industries. They generally fill up about 80% of their open positions uh, through internship return offers, and you will be competing with a lot of top business schools for the rest of the 20%. So yes, 100% you have higher competition when you're directly applying full time. That being said, I think the employment opportunities or the employment circumstances that have gone down is not purely a factor of that used to exist ever since the program started. It is mostly a factor of the market slowing down in general. The European market is slowing down, not slowing down, it's slow. The US market right now is very slow. It was also uncertain because of the election year. I think this is the prediction. I'm not really sure, but things are going to get better. How better or how quickly, I'm not really sure of. But there was a certain level of uncertainty that the companies had due to not understanding whether there's going to be a regime change. And now that the regime has changed, they will look and feel as to how, when Trump takes over, what kind of decisions he's going to take in order to start hiring. So I think uh, it is a mixed factor, but yes, there is some sort of truth to that factor that if you don't have an internship opportunity, there will be a slight, I would say, disadvantage to you as compared to the MBAs who do have that internship opportunity.
Okay, so that's the thing that you have. Okay, I understand. And and what about you? So your program will finish in May. It's a STEM program. Yeah. Yeah. Are you looking for a job? So now you have what, you have 6 months to find for a job, basically.
Yeah.
What about the research? What are you planning to do? What are your plans?
So I think there are a couple of things. One, the career office here is really helpful, and they also know how to go about it. They do have very strong relations with recruiters. Uh, so the first thing that I do is just I regularly keep speaking to them. You have a coach that is assigned to you even before the degree starts, and they start speaking to you, they start coordinating with you, they start pushing you to do a lot of networking work even 2 months before the program has started. So they ensure that you're not going to come to the program unprepared. I think once
Yeah.
you're here, it's going to be slightly more difficult because, as I said, the academic pressure is substantial, especially if you want to learn, especially if you're someone who wants to maximize learning as well, you will be put under substantial amount of pressure. Balancing recruiting along with that is going to be slightly difficult because if you're someone who wants to go into banking or consulting, the moment you arrive, within 15 to 20 days, the hiring processes would have started. So you have to balance both of those things. After that, I think right now things are relatively slow because not a lot of firms are hiring. Most of them have finished off. Uh, they will start back up again in January after the breaks. So I think it's important throughout to continue doing your coffee chats, to continue networking, which in the US is massive. It is very, very important to continue doing that. And just to maintain those relationships as to when you find out that there's an opportunity that suits you, that you should have a connect in the company to refer you there, because I think referrals go a long way here. Uh, so far, that's what I'm doing. Consulting has
Mhm.
been difficult. It's been slow. I did get interviews from three different places, but it is a slow process right now. Uh, that being said, I think it is slow for everyone. The MBAs, as I said, have an advantage because they have an internship process.
Yeah.
But there are a good number of second year MBAs who are still looking for something, maybe because they didn't like the work at their company where they interned or they didn't get a return offer. Uh, so I think there are a good number of people who are still looking, uh,
Mhm.
and they're pretty confident of making it at the end of the day. I won't lie to you, it is a struggle, it is a lot of work. You have to dedicatedly put time to it, which is what I'm doing. I think I'm not in the accelerated stage right now. I'm still getting used to it, but like now I'm in a better situation, have kind of found that balance between academics and recruitment. Uh, so I think, yeah, it is a hard 6 months ahead of me, but then that was always the case. If you're leaving your previous job, going to another country, once again, it is taking a risk, irrespective of how prestigious the institution is. If the market is going to be competitive, then you have to hold your own, because you might be from Yale, but then your competition also will be with people from Wharton, people from Harvard, people from Stanford. So uh, I think it is important to understand that it's not going to be a free lunch.
Yeah. Okay. So it's but you're pretty confident. Anyway, you told me last time that you wanted to stay in the US and you wanted to come back in Europe. Have you changed your mind?
I am looking at
Hello.
all three markets right now, actually, Dr. Huber. I'm looking at the US, I'm
Mhm.
looking at Europe, I'm also looking at the Middle East. So a lot of my friends, for example, here are fixated on working in the United States.
Mhm.
I don't have that fixation. I'm more than happy to come back to Europe or the UK. I'm more than happy to go to Dubai. For me, I think the role is extremely important. Uh, the function that I work in is extremely important. That is first priority for me. I want to stay within the strategy and operations kind of a division, or do consulting. So those two functions are really important to me. I am less worried about whether it's the US or whether it's the Middle East or whether it's Europe. Obviously, the salaries are affected, but I think the cost of living is also proportionally adjusted.
But still, in the US, salaries are pretty high, even if the cost of living is high. Salaries are pretty high in general. No, what do you think? Where is it
It
best?
is.
ratio,
It is.
salary, cost of living, US is still number one, no? You don't think so? Yeah,
I
it's still,
think I think my preference would be the Middle East
okay.
because uh, in tech and in consulting, they're paying almost 75-80% of what the US is paying, and they literally have zero taxes.
Yeah,
So and I've also worked in Dubai, so I think for me it's great. US definitely has an allure to it. It's also not just that, it's like once you get into the US market, I think the growth is really fast. Uh, Fortunately or unfortunately, if you're not able to get the H-1B visa, you still have the opportunity to work here for 3 years, get the ROI of your degree. And I think once you have that US experience, a lot of other companies find you attractive, irrespective of whether you go back to your home country or you want to move to maybe the Middle East or Europe. So I think, yes, that is definitely there. It is an attractive destination. Your growth is also extremely fast and accelerated. Uh, but that being said, I am still keeping my options open. And then we'll see if we land up something which is in multiple parts of the world, then we'll see which one to pick. Hopefully, that's a good problem to have.
yeah, yeah, it's a good problem to have. That's what you told me. And you enjoy Yale, the city, the US? Do you have time to travel?
Absolutely. I think it's been fun. It's been
Mm,
very, very hectic, to be honest. Like I said, Yale likes to put you under pressure.
mm,
Now, it's dependent on you whether you want to take that pressure or you want to travel more. It depends on your priority. I wanted to maximize learning, so I haven't really traveled too much. I've been to New York, but I've been to New York before also. Uh, I would say New Haven is very like a university town. It's nothing like Madrid. Obviously,
mm,
like Madrid is my favorite city in the world, so it's very difficult to compare anything to Madrid. Uh, but then New Haven is more a university town. Most of the people here are students, either because there are three universities here. A lot of them are Yale students. So I think it's like that bubble that you're
mm.
within a university town. Most of the people that you're going to see are somehow associated to either the University of New Haven, the University of Connecticut, or Yale. So that's how it's different from staying in Madrid. Madrid is like, it's not like all IE people.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going to meet a lot of people who are not IE because you're staying in a metro city. Uh, so yeah, that's the difference. The good thing about New Haven is very accessible. It's 2 hours each from New York or Boston, so you can travel very quickly if you want, whether that's for professional reasons or just for chilling out on a weekend. Uh, but yeah, for all students who are interested, for all students who will apply, you might have to think about it because you might not get the time to chill that much because Yale really likes to put you under pressure.
okay. And so do you have time to be part of some clubs, student club, like the Indian club?
Yeah.
And what do you do there? What is your role in
So
these clubs?
there's another
Which,
reason why I've
yeah,
actually been not been able to provide a lot of time for traveling and all that because I have been involved in the community here quite a lot. So I am currently in four clubs where I
okay,
am a 1 year leader. So this is called the first year leader. Their presidents are the second years. So we are, let's just say, the first years who enter the leadership team. It is in the Adam Smith Society, uh, in the Business and Politics Club, in the Education Club, and then there's an Excellence Club by Nova. So the first three are SOM specific, and my roles are mostly organizing events, reaching out to speakers. Uh, in some clubs, it's also like in the Education Club, I'm part of the organizing committee for the Education Leadership Conference, which is one of the largest education-based conferences in the US. Uh,
yeah,
so it really depends. It does take a fair bit of time, but it's also really fun. A great way of networking, great way of building capabilities outside of your classroom. And then I'm also involved in a couple of sports teams here. Uh, Also involved in what we call the Student Advisory Board for Title IX, which is for discipline and to prevent sexual misconduct on campus. So I get to interact a lot with the undergrads also, which is great because I think Yale really got its prestige from the undergrad institution initially. And it's really good to see a lot of the young kids who are extremely bright and being able to mentor them, being able to interact with them. So yeah, I think there's a lot to do if you want to engross yourself in the community, you want to contribute. Uh, I think there's a lot to do here as well.
So it's something. So what are the piece of advice that you would give, Shivanjan, to students who are like you, want to go either for an MBA in the US or an MAM in the US?
I think my first advice would be choose your schools very carefully, and don't just go for how prestigious the school is. Also find out whether you're going to fit into that school's culture or not. Uh, if you're going to do an MBA, it's going to be 2 years. So you're going to live there. It's going to be your home for 2 years. And if you don't enjoy it, I don't think there's going to be a point to it. Like you can be at Harvard and you can be miserable if you don't fit in there, right? Because most of the people want human interaction. Most of the people will develop friendships, and MBAs and business degrees are mostly about networking and the network that you build. So I think definitely consider the prestige, definitely consider how good the school is, but ensure that you also fit into the school and not just because it's Yale or it's MIT or it's Harvard or it's Stanford. It's more important for you and the DNA of the school to match. That's really important. Uh, I would say for the MAM, it is very important to answer three questions, which to
Right.
them is really important. The first question is, why do you want to do an MAM? Why do you want to do another business master's degree when you already have an MBA? This is even more pertinent for the students who come from IE, who come from HEC Paris, who come from Oxford, uh, because these are already very well known, prestigious institutes, have an international network. So it needs to be a very pinpoint uh, answer and very specific to you. It cannot be generic as to why you want to do that program. The second question that is very important is, what are your short term and long term goals after the MAM? I think these need to be very specific and pretty clear in your head. I mean, obviously, during the journey, you might enter or you might get opportunities or crossroads where you might have to change your decision, and that is completely all right. But initially, at least, you need to tell them that what do you want to do. And the third thing is, how do you align to the mission of SOM, which is building leaders for business and society. And that is very important. I thought that was just a mission statement written on a website. That's not. Even after coming to school here, the school, the students, the staff, the professors, they live and breathe the mission of SOM. So all of the things that they do, yes, they want to make money, yes, they want to be successful in life, but there's always an aspect of how to make an impact on society in a positive way. That can be through a lot of things. That it doesn't necessarily have to be social impact. You can be making a very positive impact even if you open a startup which is tech based or working for Google. So I think that aspect and that way of thinking, that bent of mind is important. And it's very important for the admissions committee to understand how you are going to be in alignment with that mission, because that's how you become a good ambassador of the school.
Okay. So thank you very much, Shivanjan. I will share this video. I will put it on my YouTube channel, and I will also inform the students from Madrid that they can watch the video. So as usual, it is important to exchange with you because you're very knowledgeable and you know about business schools very well. You have made the research, so it's always interesting to share all that with you. So thank you very much, Shivanjan. Anyway, we correspond once a month. I will tell you about our plans in India, and I was happy to talk to you. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Uber. Thank you so much for taking
Thank you,
out
Baba.
the time.
Thank
As
you.
always, a pleasure.
For you as well. Thank you, Shivanjan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.